Hello, my name is Kayla Tyus. The first question is, today there are multiple generations and communication styles with both client families and coworkers. How do you anticipate managing those multiple generation communication styles? So being in the funeral home industry, I know that I'm always going to be able to meet various types of people with different personalities as well as communication styles. And I think the best way to anticipate and handle this is by always being an active listener. I want to make sure that when the client or when my coworkers are speaking to me, that I'm always listening and that it's in an environment that's free from distractions. I also want to make sure that when they're speaking, that I'm not interrupting them, that I'm giving them eye contact, and that I'm thoroughly engaging with what they have to say. Another thing that I also want to do to make sure that I'm really grasping the information is taking notes. So making sure that I'm taking detailed notes and writing down bullet points or just key factors or key things that they say are important also lets them know that I'm being an active listener and listening to their communication style. Another thing that I want to do is also consider preferences. So I know sometimes when dealing with different generations that some may prefer to speak on the phone, whereas others prefer to email or to text. So just making sure that if somebody is from an older generation and prefers to speak on the phone, that I'm giving them a phone call and communicating with them about the various information versus if somebody prefers the email, making sure that I'm being very professionally in my wording and making sure that I have everything written out point blank for them. The second question is discuss the differences and benefits between celebrants and traditional clergy. One thing that I know is that the traditional clergy are typically used for more religious services. So that'll be they can read the scripture as well as perform the eulogy as well as preach a sermon. One thing that I have heard about celebrants is that celebrants are a little bit more tailored to the family and they're a little bit more for people who aren't as religious. So it allows for them to really customize and create a truly unique experience for the family of the deceased. So one thing that I like about celebrants is the idea, like I said, that they can customize it to an individual. So say, for example, somebody enjoyed the outdoors. They may be able to kind of create a little bit of a different natural experience for the visitation and for their services. And one thing about celebrants is because it's very personalized, it creates a unique one-of-a-kind experience that is something different that you wouldn't typically see when going to a traditional funeral service. Like I said again, like with traditional clergy, they're very structured and they kind of have a set order or a set tea. Whereas a celebrant, they're able to kind of meet one-on-one more with the family, spend a little bit more time than possibly the clergy can, so they can truly get to know the family and create something that's a little bit more unique. But I think the benefits of both of these is that they're both still providing service to a family and that they are both still engaging with the family, trying to get some information so they can make sure that the service runs smoothly. The third question is, how important is continuing education and what does it mean to your future development? Albert Einstein once said, once you stop learning, you start dying. And I found this quote to be very significant to this question because it really emphasizes the importance of always seeking knowledge and always wanting to better yourself. I feel like continuing education is very vital for this role in funeral directing because there's always going to be a new technique, there's always going to be new materials, there's always going to be something new to learn. So I think that by taking continuing education courses, you'll always be able to engage in the material and learn more techniques so that you can provide better service to the families in your community. I think one thing that's very important about continuing education is just understanding that you don't know it all and that things do change and that things can evolve. So really being in continuing education, it can help you to learn or see things in a different light. So like, for example, in my restorative art class, my professor is always teaching me about different techniques that have evolved over the centuries. So if somebody wouldn't have taken a continuing education course, they may not know about the new techniques or the new restorative art features that can be used to help somebody be able to see their loved one and help them grieve. So I think that continuing education is very important because it will allow for you to be of greater service to the families and your community, as well as just help you learn. And the more you learn, the more knowledge you have, that knowledge you can share and pass on with others. So by taking a continuing education course, you can make sure that you're well aware of the current trends, as well as see where you can improve so that you're able to serve the families to the best of your ability and ensure that their service goes as smoothly as possible. Thank you so much.